And then until all of a sudden, before you know it, what did they say? What did that lady say? First they came for the journalist, but I wasn't a journalist. Then they came for the artist, but I wasn't an artist. See, they keep doing one thing at a time until finally you're the last man standing. And well, you never noticed it was coming at you. You never noticed that we were going to finally come to you. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Exactly. So anyway, there is a concerted effort in the genocide of the world, but this I just did research on this about 6 months ago. I grew up all over the world. Mm-hmm. It never occurred to me to be what's in America is labeled as a racist. I am Caucasian.
Okay.
When I was young, I used to go out into the jungle and play naked with the black kids. I didn't know any difference. I didn't know any difference in color. That's my background. And about 6 or 8 months ago, I had a guy that I'd been talking to and discussing philosophical concepts, and one day he came and told me, you are a racist. And I said, why? Because you're white. What do you mean? Well, the white people have taken over the world, destroyed the world, and I mean all this propaganda and all this crap. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's not true. What are you talking about? And he was coming out and says, all white people should be killed and gotten rid of to make a better place for the world. And I says, where is this coming from? And eventually he quit even talking to me. And this is after 2 years of philosophical thought and discussion, and just this came out of nowhere. So I started looking at the situation and the events and stuff, and I found that there is within the United States in the black community, there is a very, very hard push to demonize white people. This comes from the leaders of the black group people. That everything is white. Everything
all
that's
whites' fault. All whites, right?
Yeah, it's white.
Yeah,
and I mean, there's so many holes in that; it's ridiculous. But you know, the fable they believe in. Well, the Civil War was about black slavery, and white people turned us into slaves. And hold it! You don't know your history very good.
Well, if they want to know the truth, that there was plenty of white vagabonds that were brought over for their free ride to come over here. They had to work like slaves.
Yeah.
They had to work like slaves.
Well, it's recorded that the first slave owner in the United States was a black man.
Right.
And he had white slaves. Okay, well, how about the white slaves in Egypt?
Yeah.
I mean, white slavery. When I was living in Nigeria, everybody was total fear for me because I was a white blonde boy. The number one desire of being kidnapped and turned into a slave. And yes, slavery is very proliferant in Nigeria, a black country. I grew up all over Africa. Slavery is there. I mean, they enslaved their own people.
Yeah.
If you look at the history, where did the slaves in America come from? The slaves in America came from
tribal
black
wars,
tribes
warring with each
slaves.
other. Yeah. Until there became
and
a
so
market.
Anyway, I went into this, and what I discovered is that there is a definite focus of genocide, not euthanized, not eugenics, but genocide of the white race. And so I once I figured this out, my next question was why? Why? If you go back in the last 500 to 1,000 years, it has been always predominantly the white man that would stand up against tyranny.
Mm-hmm.
You go back through medieval history, the barons, the white people. Yeah, there's a lot of bad people too. There's no question on that. There's good and bad, but it has always been the white race that has stood up, especially in the last 100 years,
Mm-hmm.
against tyranny.
Well, then what is that? What does that tell you then? That tells you that what is soon to be coming is expected to have plenty of opposition. So why not get a race?
You cut,
That's right. Why not get a race
you
war
get
started?
rid of the petition.
That's right. Get rid of the opposition. And what better way to
Yeah,
do
the
that than
people.
create race wars, racial divisions? Oh yeah.
And so what they're doing is they're attacking the white race from childhood, from the minute a child is born. They are started on a program of disinformation, and in schools in Oregon now, I read this in the paper that it's required for all white kids to go through a white privilege class now.
You're kidding, right?
No.
Wow.
They are required to go through a white privilege to see how privileged they are and how bad a people they are. But yeah, that's another thing. The big thing that we need to do is get out the understanding and teaching of common law.
Right.
Is land jurisdiction. People need to learn and understand common law. If we don't, we're lost. If we don't take back our jurisdiction, our courts, that's the key.
Right.
Because the bankers that come in with their fiat money, who protects them?
Right.
The courts, the lawyers. We don't have a chance. They own everything. And until we break the lawyer guild and get rid of them, which is what the original 13th Amendment was about, which was ratified,
Mm-hmm. Well,
that we will move into a dictatorship or an oligarchy, or at least a plutocracy.
I think that ship, and pardon the pun, talking about maritime or law here, but I think that ship has sailed. I think we are already finding ourselves under this oligarchy, if you will, of corporate interest, and they're the ones running the whole show. So,
oh yeah,
that's just.
Oh yes.
But I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go out here. I'm a smoker. I got to smoke here. But it was a pleasure getting to talk to you. And please keep working with Chris Briles and other people right there in Burns. Get them to open their eyes to what's going on. The more support that these people give themselves, because that's the problem here. These people are not supporting themselves. They are in fear of the BLM so bad that they feel they have no choice but to subject themselves to what the BLM says, and they need an eye opener. They do. All right.
Well, I've been told that something like 60 or 70% of the people there are employed by the BLM,
right?
And that the BLM and Forest Service has told them if they say anything that the BLM or Forest Service does not like, if they support anybody, if they do not do anti-rallies, they will be fired.
Right. Have you seen this latest story? I do believe you may have even covered it. The one rancher that was beat up, Mr. Puckett. You know who that guy is, right? Mr. Puckett, the one who got beat up by these. Not the.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay, well, if you were watching, there was a moment when Ammon Bundy, Lavoy Finicum, and a few others started removing the fence so that this one rancher could allow his cattle to graze. That fence right there, they were doing that was for Mr. Puckett. Mr. Puckett told them, yeah, go ahead and remove the fence. When the media went over there and talked to Mr. Puckett, and it was like a day or two later, Mr. Puckett said, "No, I never gave them permission." That what that tells me is now that he got his ass whooped, pardon my French, is that he was threatened because he told them to go ahead and do that to make a stand. And now he finds himself where he got his he pretty much got beat up by mercenaries, FBI, whoever it was. I don't know exactly who it was,